And the nation is still mourning the massacre of 26 innocent Indians in Pahalgam, which occurred 5 days ago. Never before have so many tourists been killed in a single attack in Kashmir. Meanwhile, a pall of gloom has hung over the residents of Pahalgam. Locals mourn the lives lost in a fear. A fair shadow is cast on the booming tourist economy as well. According to Babar Chaudhary, president of the J&K Hotel and Restaurants Association, booking schedule have been cancelled across the valley. The association represents around 240 hotels and restaurants. From the April month to August, over 25 lakh tourists usually visit Kashmir. In fact, the Tulip Garden in Srinagar had attracted 8.5 lakh visitors within 26 days of its opening till the attack was carried out. Tour operators were gearing up for the summer season to ensure a comfortable stay for tourists. However, hoteliers now expect a steep fall in tourist footfall this year. Locals, meanwhile, have expressed their sorrow and staged protests condemning the heinous attack. The residents of Kashmir maintain that whoever wants to visit in the future are most welcome. Let's listen in to what a local resident in Pahalgam told my colleague Ashik Mir.
अस्सलाम वालेकुम रहमतुल्लाह। जो भी ये कायराना हमला पिछले दिन वाक़ा आया 22 रन में, तो हम इसकी काफ़ी मज़म्मत करते हैं और ऐसे हालात, ऐसे वाक़ात कश्मीर में होने नहीं चाहिए। अब जिन्होंने भी ये किए ये वाक़ा, तो पहले तो वो इंसान नहीं है और उनका कोई दीन धर्म नहीं है। हम टोटली इसको कंडेम करते हैं। वी आर अगेंस्ट दिस टेररिज्म और हम पीसफुल एक माहौल चाहते हैं कश्मीर में, उसके लिए हम वर्क कर रहे हैं। तो जो भी यहाँ पे कश्मीर में टूरिस्ट आना चाहते हैं इन फ्यूचर, दे आर मोस्ट वेलकम हियर। आप यहाँ पे आए, अपना टूर जो उन्होंने प्लान किया है उसको प्रॉपरली ऑर्गेनाइज करके आ जाए अच्छे से। इंशाल्लाह एवरीथिंग इज़ नॉर्मल हियर राइट नाउ। सो गवर्नमेंट भी स्टेप्स ले रहे हैं इसके बारे में, प्रॉपर सिक्योरिटी है, सारा कुछ है। तो इंशाल्लाह इन नियर फ्यूचर जो भी टूरिस्ट यहाँ का प्लान बना रहे हैं इन ब्यूटीफुल वादियों में आके यहाँ पे अपना प्यारा सा टाइम स्पेंड करें, इंशाल्लाह दे आर मोस्ट वेलकम हियर। कुछ अनासिर होते हर जगह, देखो ये हम डिनाई नहीं कर सकते, सिक्योरिटी रीजंस कुछ भी जो भी हुआ, एट द एंड ये जो हमला है ये इंसानियत के खिलाफ था।
मैं आपको पिया एक नंबर
भी जान गई, ये बहुत एक गलत चीज़ है जो हुई है, तो हम इसकी मजम्मत कर सकते हैं और इन फ्यूचर ये सारे हालात ये
Sumit Peer, senior political commentator, is joining us live. Raja Munib, senior journalist, Jammu and Kashmir, is also live with us. Pitali Nikore, economist, also is with us on the broadcast. Raja Munib, let me begin with you first. This is a very tough time for tourism in Jammu and Kashmir, isn't it, sir? Do you believe it will take a time for it to bounce back after this incident?
No, certainly, yes. But look, this incident goes beyond tourism, because at the end of the day, if you understand how Pakistan has been perpetrating terror in Jammu and Kashmir, and their strategy has been to keep people of Jammu and Kashmir away from peace and tranquility and go back to their normal way of living, and then, further radicalize them and then, recruit them for terror activities. So since the abrogation of 2019, Article 317, 2019, we have seen somewhat of stability coming back into Kashmir. We had seen a reduction in violence in Jammu and Kashmir, and that is something Pakistan has not been able to digest well. And incidents like these, whether it happens in Pahalgam or it happened in in Riyasi, we saw a tourist bus being attacked by Pakistani pilgrims bus was attacked by Pakistan-backed terrorists. So it's a constant effort from the Pakistan side to keep the valley and the state of Jammu and Kashmir into turmoil, to keep them embroiled into turmoil, so that normalcy doesn't come back. And then they feed on this narrative of Jammu and Kashmir as an affected place, and then further their agenda of perpetrating terrorism into Kashmir. So yes, at the end of the day, it's the Kashmiris who are going to suffer from it. But look, if you look at the terror pattern in Jammu and Kashmir for last 30 years. Kashmir has never been able to see a sustained, or you can say a stable, elongated time wherein people have been able to settle down and carry on with their day-to-day business. There has always been disruptions. Till 2019, we saw how separatists would disrupt peace in Jammu and Kashmir, given almost on daily basis, weekly basis. But that thing had completely finished off now. So once again, Kashmiris are at a crossroad wherein Pakistan has perpetrated a heinous terror attack, and the brunt of it is going to be faced by the people of Jammu and Kashmir.
Yes, Sumit Peer, let me draw you in here as well. Sumit, this is of course going to be a big blow for the tourism economy of Jammu and Kashmir, isn't it? this terror incident, and that perhaps was the intention of the terrorists. Look at the timing. The timing, of course, was at a time when the US Vice President was in India. The timing was, of course, at a time when Prime Minister Modi was away from India on a foreign visit. The timing, of course, also was at the start of the tourist season, Sumit.
Uday, thank you very much for having me on your show. Look, there are a couple of facts which are out in the open, and let's not be ostriches and try to divert the things. We know it is done by Pakistan. We know TRF is associated with Pakistan. We know that there are even 2 or 3 local terrorists who are also there. We know 8 houses of tourists are decimated in the area and they have brought down because they are terrorists. So we cannot say it's only Pakistan ne aaya karke nikal gaya. But what about the local support? What about these 3 local terrorists? They are living in the same district of Anantnag where Pahalgam is. What about the 8 houses which have been decimated? Now the problem is very simple. You cannot be running with the hare and hunting with the hounds. Either you want economic prosperity, you can't be doing terrorism, and at the same time you can't have a father pulling a shikara and beta picking up a gun. I'm being direct here. So this can't happen. And now unfortunately no Pakistan, what about the local support? Do you think this happened without local support? Do you think locals are not involved? If locals are not involved, makan kiska dhara rahi hai government? Whose 8 houses have been demolished so far? Why locals are not coming and calling it out? Why nobody, even the respected Chief Minister of J&K, Shriman Umar Abdullah ji and his father, Farooq Abdullah, is not taking the name of Pakistan. They have not uttered the word Pakistan. You have Donald Trump talking Pakistan, you have UK talking Pakistan, you have entire world talking Pakistan, but still there are Kashmiri politicians who Pakistan का नाम नहीं लेंगे. बोलेंगे oh terrorism activity हुई, ये हुई. Why are you acknowledging there are local terrorists also in it? Are you talking of heinous measures to contain? Are you talking of stringent measures to contain terrorism? Look, terrorism, if there is terrorism, tourism cannot work. या तो tourism कर लो भैया या terrorism कर लो. Either one of them will work. So you can't tell me to go there, or I can't ask you to go there. भगवान करेगा तो वापस आओगे, अन्यथा कोई बात नहीं. If in such a scenario, would anybody want to spend time, energy and money to go there? Unless and until there's a lot of resentment from the local people, unless and until they work aggressively with the government and identify these terrorists, unless and until you tell them in advance, look, there are people here, there are terrorists here which are doing this. I'm not saying every local is involved, but there is a microscopic minority of locals which is involved, which is there. We have 63 raids going on. We have 1,074 people apprehended. We have found AK-47s, we have found pistols, we have found mugs, we have found hand grenades, we have arrested around 12 or 18 overground workers which were a part of this crime. Now, how do you say? This is all surrounding districts of Anantnag and the Pahalgam. So, let's face the fact. I mean, you can come on TV and say we want tourism to come and all that. Who guarantees the safety? What have you done to make sure that the local traveler doesn't bleed? We'll settle Pakistanis. That's not a problem. What about the locals? What are they doing? Uday, the time has come. We are at crossroads. We'll settle Pakistan. अब की बार तो आर पार करेंगे पाकिस्तान का. That's not a difficult thing. But at the same time, I want those people to come up and say, yes, there's a problem. I want Umar Abdullah to say, yes, Pakistan is involved. I want his father to come and say, yes, Pakistan is involved. I want Mehbooba Mufti to come and say, yes, Pakistan is involved. Right? You are still trying and avoiding the name Pakistan because of your political reasons or whatever. Look, you cannot have this kind of a dual policy. Nobody is an idiot here. It's a time of internet. Everybody knows what is happening. And the people who go there, padhe likhe log hain yaar, they have internet, they have mobile phone, they know what is the reality on the ground. And I was really perplexed on one of your shows, one of these days. One person said, "Sahab, agar aapko pata the wahan surakshit nahi to bol dete, hum nahi jate." I mean, that is the kind of sentiment we get to hear from people. The issue is here. We want to settle Pakistan, yes. But what do we do to clean the house? What do we do at the ground to bring the trust of the people who want to come there back? Kashmir has more potential than Switzerland. Kashmir is more expensive going than Europe today going. It has all the beauty in the world. There's nothing which matches Kashmir. I can vouch for that. But at the end of the day, you can't have this duality going on. You can't have this duality going on. And if Umar Abdullah's government thinks he has nothing to do with it, if he thinks his hands are clean, it's problem of Amit Shah, Yogi Adityanath and Modi, well, that's not going to happen. Because you are at the helm of affairs. Why is that when the the Kashmir-based parties are at the helm of affairs? You have Kashmiri Pandit massacre, you have Vandhama, you have Chatti Singhpura, you have Pulwama, you have Uri, now you have Pahalgam. Why is there such a sweet, beautiful coincidence? And why is this coincidence repeating for last 35 years? 35 साल से ये कहानी चल रही है. And unfortunately, Vajpayee ji gave 3 beautiful words. Kashmir, Jamhuriyat and Insaniyat. And now when something like this happens, you try to spin a doctrine around these three words, Kashmir, Jamhuriyat, Insaniyat, and I want to go. But what do I do for a Manjunath's wife to get belief, to make her believe that Kashmir is safe? What do I do to Dwivedi's brother to making sure, bhai tu ja, Kashmir safe hai? What is done on the ground? पाकिस्तान के खिलाफ कितने जुलूस निकले मुझे ये बताइए. How many people have hit the roads and called out Pakistan? And what about those local terrorists? उनका क्या करोगे सर? I mean, let's not be naive, Uday. There is a problem, and if we don't acknowledge what is the problem, we are beating around the bush.
Vitali Nikori, let me draw you in here on the economic impact of this, this terror attack. What is going to be the economic impact on the economy of Jammu and Kashmir, and also, on the tourism component of our GDP?
Yeah, absolutely, Uday. So I completely agree with both my previous speakers that, there is a lot that needs to be done. There's a problem that needs to be acknowledged. And of course, we have to always begin these conversations by expressing our sorrow and regret for what those families are going through and what they will continue to go through for their entire lives, right? It feels very personal because I'm sure we all have friends and relatives, or ourselves, we may have visited in the last few years, to Pahalgam and to, J&K region, and gone there for a holiday maybe, or even seen the beautiful photos of, in a lot of Bollywood films. Also, the shooting has happened in J&K in the last few years, and it's really unlocked a lot of tourism for the economy. And the J&K economy was primarily an agrarian economy prior to the abrogation of Article 370 and the entire sort of opening up of the economy. A lot of private sector investment also has gone into the into the union territories. And we've seen a lot of private sector confidence building measures that were done directly by the central government to bring investors into J&K and say, we are going to actually unlock the economic potential of the region. So today, now we are at a crossroads because there is an impact on employment, not only on the employment linked directly to the tourism sector, but also to the livelihoods of small businesses. And particularly in the future, when you bring in foreign investors, or you bring in even domestic investors from other states and say, why don't you start a business here, even if it's an agri business, like say a food processing business. Even for that, there is a loss of confidence that can we actually go there? Is it safe? How will we run our business remotely? It's not possible to run agri processing businesses, apple manufacturing and export businesses. I mean, these are the lifelines of the J&K economy. So I think going forward, it is very, very important that we focus on the safety and security. Completely agree with Sumit P that the safety and security agenda has to be like an ongoing agenda. But at the same time, providing additional security to people who are doing business in the state. Because the biggest fear that I have today is that we can't have our youth falling into unemployment right over there. If our youth falls into unemployment over there, we've just about managed to restart that economy. We've just about managed to integrate the J&K economy very much more into the mainstream Indian growth story. And then if the youth becomes disenchanted and falls into unemployment, then they become vulnerable to other forms of nefarious activities that we know are going on over there. So we really, really need to see, how can we safeguard not only tourism. Tourism is one part of the story, but the rest of the business activity that has really come up in the state needs to be safeguarded. And I think the government has a massive role to play. The central government, one simple thing is, okay, there are people who are still volunteering to go there and it's coming out in the media, and that's very heartening. But at the same time, government has to say, look, we are going to keep on supporting the region. We'll have meetings here, we'll have conferences here, we'll bring international delegations over here. And, we are going to make sure that the world can see that J&K is safe and, can be kept safe, at least for meetings, conferences, events, where at least the government is the organizer. So, some of these practical measures need to continue to be taken over the years till the confidence comes back.
Okay, let me in fact also quickly go back to Sumit Peer. Sumit Peer, how long will it take to rebuild the tourism economy of Jammu and Kashmir and to reverse this sort of economic blow that the terrorists have tried to also hit our union territory with?
Look, it's a nefarious agenda of Pakistan, and Pakistan is the person behind it. Asim Munir is the person. We have to settle Pakistan. देखो उदय जी, मेरे को ना, if I have pimples, if I have a headache here, I might have a tumor in the brain. I can keep on putting balm here, but that is not the solution. You have to cut my head, take out the tumor and throw it out. Then only I will have no headache for mother. The epicenter of this terror and this jihad is GHQ Rawalpindi, and the person who is the honcho of this is General Asim Munir. Let's identify the enemy, Pakistan Army. We have been trying to put band-aids here and there, but that is not helping. We have been trying to solve the problem of Pakistan within J&K. That is not helping. Once we settle there, so the first thing will be given that the fountain where this all is emanating for is shut down. Then we must see a lot of level of development from the locals, wherein locals come and say, no, we are not for it. Wherein we are able to identify terrorists much before they hit. Wherein we are able to identify overground workers before they hit. My request to center government has been always, look, there's no difference between overground worker and terrorist. If you think I'm carrying a pistol today, I'm an overground worker, and then when I carry a AK and slaughter 28 people, then I become a terrorist. You are waiting for my metamorphosis to happen. Why you are not apprehending me today? Carrying a pistol makes me an overground worker, and carrying a AK-47 makes me a terrorist. This kind of classification has to go. We have to be very resilient. The people have to come forward and say, no, here is a terrorist. Yahan rehta. These are the people who are, and take it a call. I mean, you have to, when we do these two changes, I think within a couple of years, maybe 2 years, if there is decisive action, we can see tourism bound coming back. We had 2.5 or 3.5 crore tourists there going there. Potential is much more, Udayji, but trust ka deficit hai. Problem is the security. Dil logo ka ghabraya hua hai. How you look at the airline bookings. I was looking at a couple of days back, airline bookings, that what you find a ticket today is less than half of what it was 7-8 days back. What does that tell you? A lot of bookings have been cancelled. So after this, Hamas style attack, where you isolate people, where you on religious profiling go and shoot people in the head and heart point blank. I mean, this is too much. And then we don't see the name Pakistan emanating. We don't see people talking, Pakistan ne karwaya. We're still saying terrorism, ye hua, wahan hua, yahan hua. In the same Kashmir, we have also one boy who went and confronted terrorists. They killed him. I salute the valor of that boy. मैं उसको सलाम करता हूँ. But at the same time, we need more examples, because we have to show to the world, look, this is what is the reality of the ground. Everybody is not with terrorism, which is not. But silence is tacit support. Uday, problem ye hai. Silence is tacit support. If we are silent, hum ghar mein chupchap baith gaye, we are in a way seen supporting that. Let's hit the roads. Let's hit the roads and give a message to Pakistan. I would have loved to see the biggest ever processions happening against Pakistan. I would have seen biggest ever processions happening and, condemning what happened. I would love to see protest marches or candle marches going to Lal Chowk and giving our, Shraddhanjali to the people who have lost their life. And this kind of a resentment has to be shown by the people of Kashmir, because they are at the receiving end. Pakistan and the terrorists want to disrupt everything. But what are you going to save yourself? How are you going to save yourself? If you keep silent, if you choose not to talk, people will take, bhai aap inke saath ho. I'm very candid with that, because I don't want the youth to suffer. I want them to come out. I want them to be in the mainstream. But if they choose to keep quiet, if they choose to keep silent, what my friend was saying right now, there'd be unemployment, and unemployment will lead to so many sets of problems. Tell me one thing, sir, in such a scenario, even if you go to UAE, will UAE invest? Go to Saudi Arabia, I'm talking of the Muslim countries, will they invest? Go to any Muslim country, go to Bahrain, will they invest? They will not invest. Take my word, if it was so easy, why don't they invest in Pakistan? Because there is a peace, law and order problem in Pakistan. They were investing here because we had controlled that law and order. And even their billions of dollars of investment is in jeopardy because Pakistan has put everything on the jeopardy. What I want is only one thing. We'll settle Pakistan now for good. Pura permanent ilaj. But we want the people of the valley to come out and say, no, we are not with it. We want that mass movement to come and say, no, we are not with it. We are not going to let it happen. We don't want these terrorists to spoil the future of our future generations. We are not with it. And you have to volunteer and identify these terrorists and overground workers. There should no need of a cordon search operation and identify them. There should be no need. The information should come, yahan baitha, le jao, utha ke le jao. Because unless and until that happens, Uday, we can be beating around the bush, we can be doing as many TV debates as we want, but the person who has to spend his 5 lakh rupees to go Kashmir and carry a heart in his hand, ke wapas aunga ya nahi aunga, it won't work, sir. I'm sorry, it won't work. Any kind of government conciliation will not help, because this time, people were identified on the basis of religion and they were eliminated on spot, point blank. Khopdi mein gori mari hai. What do you say to the people? What do you say to that Manjunath's wife who saw his husband's brain bursting out of the skull? What do you say to that 11-year-old child?
Yes.
How are you going to convince him? How are you going to console him? What will you make you believe him ki agli baar nahi hoga if you come to Kashmir? If you can believe that child, whole India will believe you. Make believe that child ki jo tere baap.
Raja Munib, let me draw you in here. Raja Munib, short term, how are we going to try and slowly rebuild the Jammu Kashmir economy? How are we slowly going to try and rebuild the livelihoods in J&K, which obviously are going to take a hit if tourism goes down and if economic investment goes down in Jammu and Kashmir as a result of this attack in Pahalgam?
If we have to build the economy back in Kashmir, we have to deal with Pakistan, decisively. Unless and until we don't deal with Pakistan decisively, this this problem is going to continue, whether in a year, whether in 2 years. Pakistan will keep on doing this again and again, right? So first thing is you sort out the problem where this emanates from, and that is Pakistan and Pakistani military, not the terror groups. Terror groups are a symptom of Pakistani military's evil designs against India. So first of all, we need to sort out Pakistan and sort them out very well this time. Second thing is, if you look in Kashmir, there is a change. And the change is that now if you look at the life of a terrorist in Kashmir, if you compare it before 2020, there were terrorists who would roam openly in Kashmir. I remember after 2014 and 2018, they would roam openly in South Kashmir. They would roam openly in North Kashmir. They would live in people's houses and people would not even report. Today, no Kashmiri terrorist, whether he's a local, is able to stay, forget his own area in any other area, in any village or any town, because the moment he comes down, he's duly reported by the same local Kashmiri and his encounter is carried out and he's, dispatched to help. So we have to understand that the nomenclature on the ground has changed. There are only 14 local terrorists involved in Kashmir who are active in Kashmir right now, Jammu and Kashmir. Out of those 14, the ones who have perpetrated this attack went to Pakistan, exfiltrated to Pakistan in 2018, and they just came back and infiltrated back into Jammu and Kashmir before carrying out this attack. Absolutely, the overground workers, who you call overground workers, and they are terrorist as states. For me, they are terrorists as well because they are aiding and abetting terrorism on the ground. Anybody who does that is a terrorist, and that's full stop on them. You will have to sort them out. You will have to proactively weed them out of the society. Now, it's very difficult at times for local people to understand that they have an OGW who is living a very normal life, who we call a hybrid terrorist, a person who is, carrying out his normal duties from day in and day out, and is very, is associated with terrorists who have come from across the border, passing them logistics or information. It's very difficult to identify a hybrid terrorist on the ground. But rest assured, the moment a hybrid terrorist or an overground worker is identified on the ground, he cannot survive in that local ecosystem for more than 2 hours. He is duly picked up, or he's duly, if he opens fire or if he, starts an encounter, he's taken care of, he's liquidated. But unless and until you don't sort out the problem, which is called Pakistan, sadly, no matter how many measures you do in Kashmir, it is not going to work because Pakistan will come back and will perpetrate terror in the state of Jammu and Kashmir. So to rebuild the economy in Jammu and Kashmir and to bring lasting peace in Jammu and Kashmir, sorting out Pakistan is the foremost, a priority which we should have on our hands at the moment.
Okay, let's leave it at that. My thanks to all of our guests for joining us. A quick break on that note.